Okay, hi, thanks for coming back for part two. I'm going to walk through how I put together the musical backing for this short sci-fi scene now using Concept 2. So I'm using a couple of instances here. The first thing I did, having looked at the scene, was I felt it needed a little forward motion, a little momentum, also something that can maintain the tension of the scene. So I found this little pluck preset, had a nice analog feel to it that I really liked, and I'm using the arpeggiator in Live here just to quickly give something a little motion, give it some movement, a little bit of movement in the arpeggiator, but not too much, just to maintain that sort of pulse, keeping through the scene. That seemed to work really well and really quickly. So after doing that, it felt like we really needed something atmospheric to underpin this sort of dark feel that the scene really had. So I reached into the Ambience presets in Concept 2 here and explored a couple of things. The environment ones were a little too naturalistic, wasn't quite what I was looking for. Room tone as well, it was a little too static. Sci-fi sections where it started to get quite interesting. So I used this preset called the Thig, which, as you can see, has a wind howling file loaded into the granular oscillator. So this is really nice because it's got something that's moving around. There's a lot of variation in the way that the grains are generated. So if we just hear that as it stands, it's quite eerie. It's got a lot of movement to it. I added a LFO quickly with drag and drop to the cutoff. It started to get really interesting though, and I added the convolution reverb, and I added in this sound, which you can see is a lettuce recording. It's quite unusual, but you can hear that this really adds another dimension and makes it a lot more three-dimensional. There's a lot more atmosphere going on there. It's really nice, really evolving sound. So I don't have to worry too much about automating this. It's just kind of doing it itself. So, and that added in a really nice, evolving, eerie background to the scene that I really liked. And again, that came together nice and quickly. So after that, you can see that we've got a lot of little movement, little flickering elements that kind of, vaguely match up with the animation. I wasn't trying to synchronize anything too much because I don't think that was really needed. You totally get the vibe really quickly. So how do we put this together? So I actually made this preset from scratch, and it did come very quickly though, and I called it the text scroll. So basically, it felt like something that you would see in a film when sort of text appears on it. So it's saying like, the submarine is in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. And I was then going to sort of mangle that and evolve that to get those flickering animations. So I'm using the granular oscillator here with a very small grain size and quite a slow rate. So it's just making these little grains, as you can see, and just pulsing them out and then moving through the file using the LFO. So it's not too static. Added in a second oscillator there with a very fast gain as well here. And then adding a little ring mod, a little flanger. And again, it started to really get interesting when I added the convolution reverb in. So I used the electric razor here to give that sort of slightly sharp sound, a little bit more wispy tail coming out from the electric razor impulse, which was really nice. And then performing it to the scene, I went a bit nuts on the notes because I didn't want to have a static note, so I kind of freestyled around the keyboard to get this really evolving feel. So let's see what that sounds like on its own. So again, it's not too synchronized, but it just picks up the kind of vibe of what's going on here. So if we look at all those elements together, this is the scene that we have. So I thought that was a nice little treatment for this scene. It came together really quickly using Concept 2, and the nice thing about that was I was combining presets and elements of the functionality and also designing something bespoke myself, but just doing it really quickly and getting something I think's pretty usable pretty quickly. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching.